Okay, Blue Table Talk is here tonight from 2 months ago. So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deborah Jones, your host for Blue Table Talk. And we have an exciting night tonight. And I want you guys to pitch in and get in there and ask questions. And because we have a former Beaumont in here tonight who was on Survivor. So, guys, we got to talk it up tonight and let's see what's going on. So, before we get into that, I know that the election is over right now because doors are closed. The voting is closed between Raphael Warnock, I'm sorry, and Herschel Walker in Georgia. So we've got, this has been a real tough time. This has been a real tough time, and we're going to find out later on tonight or maybe tomorrow morning who is the senator of Georgia. So also with that being said and everything, in Beaumont today we had a grand opening, not a grand opening, but a groundbreaking service for women and children who have been um, who have been what word I'm trying to use a shelter for the kids and the women. So they had a groundbreaking ceremony today to save lives for these women and children because so much domestic violence is going around, and we just don't know who's been hurt or whatever. But they're gonna have somewhere to go now. So Beaumont is really getting into there, and we're really trying to help these people and these women and these children, and not have them out there just being out there. So let's keep them in prayer, and let's do what we need to do. Okay, so like I said, the Georgia election is over. We're gonna find out later on what's going on. So tonight we're talking to Carl BOUDREAUX tonight. And he was a contestant on Survivor. Hey Carl, how you doing?
Hey, Miss Deborah, how you doing?
I'm so good. I am
Yes,
so happy
ma'am.
that you decided to come on tonight or any night,
Yes,
because we like to support our people who have done something in our city. And you being from Beaumont and now living in somewhere else, we want to say thank you for coming on tonight.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My pleasure.
Okay, so he was on, guys. He was on Survivor, and we know that Survivor has always been a game for underdogs. Typically, it's the get castaways versus the elements, but now, in addition to the elements, the theme is expanded to impact the actual tribes themselves. He was on David versus Goliath. Like in the Bible, David and Goliath were fighting. Okay, and David and Goliath was divided into tribes comprised of those who come from a place of privilege and those who have scratched and clawed their way through life to prove themselves, all in an epic battle to become sole survivors and $1 million. This show was aired from September to September 26th through December 19th. It was 3 months. So I don't know how you did it, Carl, but you did it. You did. I mean, I wouldn't do 1 day on it, but I guess you have to have the guts and everything. So, Carl, I told everybody that you're from Kathy. I told everybody that you're from Beaumont. Tell us a little bit about yourself, just about
Well,
you. And we'll talk about surviving later.
I was born and raised in Beaumont to my wonderful parents called Boudreaux Sr. and Carrie Ann Boudreaux. Um, yeah, I grew up in the South Park neighborhood. That's along with a host of friends and family. It's just, I don't know. I'm just a regular old guy. I love the outdoors. I love doing things outdoors. So it's kind of survival was kind of the thing for me because I've never shied away from a challenge.
So you like
Yeah.
challenges.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You like to get out there and get dirty.
Yeah, I don't have no problem with it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, with you, what enticed you to become a member of the reality show competition television franchise?
Again, well, for one, I was recruited to be on it. Um, but it's something that I always sat down and watched. My dad watched it. I watched it all the time. And when the people contacted me at first, I thought it was a joke, and I went through all the phases that I had to go through as far as being selected to actually be on it. So it just kind of was like a blessing for me. You know, it's something that I would sit here all the time and watch and say, man, I can do that, I can do that. But I never had the guts to apply for it. And then when it just fell in my lap, it was just like something that I couldn't pass up.
So that's what you are, a go-getter. You are a warrior, put it like that.
Oh yes, ma'am. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say hello to my new co-host. We have Toya Ozan. How you doing, Toya? You muted. You muted.
Hello, how are you guys?
Hey Toya.
Hey,
Great. Great.
Carl.
So thank you for coming in, Toya. I know you was rushing.
Yeah, my service out here sucks bad. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We was just talking. I was asking Carl why why he became a member of the series Survivor, and he was on David versus Goliath. So that which one were you, David or Goliath? On whose side?
I was on the David tribe.
Oh, you was on David tribe.
Yeah. I mean, coming up in South Park is, it's kind of like we didn't have it, but my parents did everything they could to make ends meet for myself, my brother, my sister, and I mean they did a doggone good job if you ask me. But yeah, so with that, that's kind of sort of how I got placed on the David tribe, which I was okay with that.
Why survival? What was the reason for being a castaway?
Because he crazy.
That-
That's your girl.
yeah, that's my girl. Now she knows I'm not. I mean, it ain't nothing I'm afraid of. Like I've never been afraid of the outdoors or the elements or anything like that. It's like I can remember, as a kid, like when we had hurricanes and I'm out there paddling a boat down the street, and just looking for stuff to get into. So yeah, that was just perfect for me to be able to go out there and challenge myself to see how it was to just be in the elements.
Right, right. Latoya, you went into a dark room, so
Yes, I had to leave out of
okay,
the other room, but I'm about to turn something on.
all right. So being a cat, tell me a little bit about survival. How did you get on there? How did you write into them, or how did it happen?
So I got a direct message to my Instagram
Mm-hmm.
because I trail ride a lot. And at the particular time, they were looking for a black cowboy.
Oh, okay.
And I just so happened to be the first black cowboy to ever be on the game of Survivor. So yeah, I get a message from one of the casting directors, and she asked me, was I interested in it? I said, of course. So I had to submit a video, and when I submitted my video, of course, I got contacted back saying they loved your video. Um, it was just all like a rush deal for me because this took place in like February, like in the middle of February. And once they did all the video things, then of course I had to go through the whole contract stuff. And they flew me to LA to do a live interview with some big wigs of CBS and big wigs of the actual Survivor show. So went there and done that, and my casting director, I can remember in the middle of the interview, my casting director just said, "Stop, that's enough." And I'm looking like I did something wrong. And she literally just stopped the interview and called me out, and I left out, and then of course went back to my hotel, and I got a phone call from her, and she goes, "Carl, they absolutely loved you."
Oh, okay.
So I flew home, and maybe about 2 weeks later, they were like, "Well, are you prepared to leave in a week and a half?" And I'm like, I was married at the time. I'm now divorced, but at the time, I was like, I looked to my ex wife, and I go, "A week and a half? Like, will we be able to do that?" And I mean, one thing led to another, and before you know it, I was on a plane to Fiji.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that didn't come between you. You say you were married at the time and now you're
Yes,
divorced.
ma'am.
It
Yes,
did
ma'am.
come between you like that.
No, 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 no. I mean, it played its role. It did play a role in it, but I can't. I really can't ultimately say that was the deciding factor, but it
Right,
did play a role. Yeah.
right. Okay, cool.
I,
Let me go ahead, sweetie.
no, I just couldn't remember. How long were you gone, Cora? Was it like 3 months?
I was gone for 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you were gone that long, so it wasn't actually live, so it was script.
Well, nothing is scripted.
Okay,
At all is scripted. Survivor is 100% real. What you see is what you get. There's no behind the scenes. There's no none of that. I mean, they don't the producers, the cameramen, they don't talk to you at all. Like it's crazy, and they video you 24 hours a day. The only thing I can say is they edited the way
right,
they wanted to be put on TV. You know what I mean? So like
right,
I might say something today about somebody and they'll fit that in there just to make it seem like it's a controversial thing for that particular moment. If you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, no, it's not scripted at all.
right.
100% real. They don't give you anything. When it's pouring down raining, you sleeping outside in the pouring down rain. There's no bathrooms. I mean, it's just no, it's none of that. So if you're not an outdoors person, then yeah, you got to figure something out. You had two places, the woods or the ocean. You just had to take your pick.
That was one of the first questions I said,
Yeah.
Cora, where did you use the restroom?
Yeah.
The woods or the ocean.
Wow.
So,
Myself, I
Cora,
was more of a woodsman, so I went in the woods and then went to the ocean to clean myself off. You know what I mean?
You weren't scared because I know the alligators and stuff are out there.
Well,
So,
no, this is the ocean. There's no
oh, just
alligators, but
ocean.
there's sharks and all of that. You
Gosh,
know,
yeah.
but yeah.
Wow.
he can have that one. Cora, I think we need to go on Big Brother. I think we'll make it.
You know, I think I could do good on Big Brother. It's just Big Brother lasts a long time. So it's like, you got to have, like, for me, I live by myself, so it's like, who's gonna look after my house while I'm gone for 3 months? I
We'll
mean,
send
you know what I'm
Raymond.
saying? But it's just, I don't know. Now I have applied to be on the Amazing Race,
Okay.
but yeah, I haven't heard anything back yet. But I have applied to be on the Amazing Race.
I
But
think you'll be good on that show.
But you already got your foot. You already got your foot step. You already got your foot in there because you've been on Survivor. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
So wow. Let me talk to the my guests first, my audience. Hey guys, how are you tonight? With Kathy Cheryl. Look, I need everybody who's on here that's not on the comment side of the page. Y'all come in and say hello to Carl and to my new co-host, Toya Ozan. And y'all come in and say hi to them. And I want you guys to hit that button that says share. Hit that share button and start sharing this podcast. Let them know that we have Carl BOUDREAUX, a former Beaumonter, who was on the hit show Survivor. And we're gonna talk to him about it. If you have questions that you want to ask about, and if you want to be a part of Survivor yourself, ask Carl about it. He's been there. He's been there, so he can share with you whether it's a daredevil or it's just whatever. So let's continue talking to Carl. Okay, so did you think that you would survive Survivor?
Oh yes, ma'am. I survive anything.
Oh, look at you.
That's him all day, every day.
All day, every day. Okay, Mr. Carl. I have someone want to ask a question. Oh my, what an experience! Were there women on the show? They must have
Yes,
watched
there were.
Yeah.
There were. It was actually 10 men and 10 women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So were there just 20 people who applied
It was.
for it, or did they eliminate people before the time?
Well, no, my particular season it called for. Well, the way they had it set up, it was 20 of us. We were split 10 and 10 with throughout the two separate tribes,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, it was 5 men and 5 women on my tribe, and vice versa on the other tribe. But there are some seasons where they only use 17 people. It just depends on what they're going for at that particular season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So Kathy Wingate says Carl is my cousin on the Guillory side. So
Hey, cuz.
might as well say it. Huh? She said no. Cheryl says no. I never watched the show. Does it still come on? Yes, it still comes on.
Absolutely. Every
Absolutely.
Wednesday, it airs on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't it
yeah.
air twice or just once?
No, it's once a week, but it comes on twice a year. So there'll be two separate seasons. Like this is the last season for this year. But then they'll have a brand new season, which will be season 44,
Right.
which will air in around March or sometime around that time.
Do you keep up with anybody on the that was on the show with you?
I keep up with a lot of people that was on the show with me. I was actually at a wedding 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago in Tampa, Florida. One of the young ladies that was on the show with me got married, so I flew out there for her wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's pretty. It's really like a fraternity once you've been on Survivor because like everybody pretty much knows everybody. They have reunions, and we all go to the reunions. We do charity functions, so we all raise money for charity, and we just, I mean, it's just like I said, a big fraternity. We all just keep in touch with one another.
So, Cora, how did you get your name on Survivor?
Which name? My name, Carl Boudreaux.
You know what I'm talking about, Smarty, Godfather.
Well, the
Godfather.
name the Godfather, because Toya, you very well know, like I was telling Miss Deborah, and my mom can vouch for it. I'm real quiet and laid back, but on the show, I was real quiet, but I was making a lot of moves that wasn't shown on the TV.
Mhm.
So then when it came to, and they were ready, like it was getting down to the end, and then that's when a couple of people started saying, "Well, man, he's calling a lot of shots, like he's the Godfather."
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what they started calling me. So it just stuck that I was Godfather. You know what I mean?
Now, were you surprised whenever they were getting ready to eliminate you, or did you know?
I had no clue I was fixing to get eliminated. I
Really?
had no clue. No, because me and my alliance, I had an alliance of five, and we
Mhm.
had done everything we could to try to get the numbers in our favor, and we did. But with that, we had one girl that was in our alliance. Well, she was a real she was a real piece of work to say the least. But yeah, she kind of felt herself being at the bottom of our alliance, right? So we get the numbers up to, I think it was five of us and four of them left, something like that. So we really could have just basically picked them off one at a time and went to the final five and then, dropped the gloves and fought it out between us.
Mhm.
But she started having an issue with me. So herself and she had her little friend that was in her pocket, they basically turned against me and my alliance and voted me off.
Was that Gabby?
Yeah. It was Gabby, yes, ma'am. Yeah, Gabby and Christian.
Kristen, right.
And it's funny because again, like, okay, so like when you get voted off, you go to what they call Ponderosa, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's where you stay the whole time because I was on the jury, which means once I got voted off, I had a vote in deciding who wins the $1 million. But when and me and my lines, myself, Davey, and Nick, we kind of knew that if we broke it up, then it was going to be hard for us to win because the Goliaths had been trying to pick us apart one by one the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was evident, and we knew it once we broke the chain, then it was basically going to be a disaster for any David to win the show of Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
So karma gets you, man. One thing I can tell people is karma really does come into play.
I mean,
So
thank you.
Gabby and Christian voted me off, and then the next vote, who comes to see me at Ponderosa? Gabby got voted off by the same
Mhm.
people that
Ah,
she thought was riding with her.
Yeah.
right.
Then right after Gabby got voted off, here comes Christian, who also went on the side with Gabby to vote me off. So it's like, karma got him. But the funny thing for me was when Gabby came to Ponderosa, like she couldn't even look me in my face. You know what I mean? For me, it didn't, it hurted for the moment because, again, you're trying to get to the end to win the $1 million.
Yeah.
But for me, it was okay because I knew that I was blessed with the opportunity to play a game to even have a chance. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I didn't really let it get to me like a lot of the other people that was on the show with me. Like some of them, they still to this day hate to even talk about it because it hurts them so much. Like me, I don't. It doesn't bother me. I got to do something that's once in a lifetime for people. So you know,
So talk about that ponderosa. It was that like a healing process or something like that? When you
it
go
it it, it really is a healing process because like there's a video of mine, my Ponderosa experience, and it's on. Well, it used to be on YouTube. I'm sure it probably still is, but yeah, like when you go to Ponderosa, of course you get a bed, a shower again, you know, food. There's a what do you call them? A psychiatrist.
yeah,
There's yeah, I mean, there's all of that, you know,
right.
massage therapist, just all of that to try to get you back
Back,
acclimated. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, yeah,
Well,
Wow.
yeah.
I always had a question about, because like for instance, in our group, we're pretty loyal to each other.
Right.
So going on something like that, with loyalty being such a big part of who you are, how, if you had an alliance, say you, Davy, and what's the other one name? I can't think of his name.
Nick.
Nick.
Nick,
So
yeah.
if you had to pick between the two, how would you be honest? Like, because you're an honest person, we'd be like, hey, Davy, or hey, Nick, we're gonna go ahead and vote you off.
Well, see, me, Nick, and Davey, we had set a pat to go all the way to the final three.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So, with us going to the final three, I wouldn't have never had to vote Davey or Nick off. I wouldn't have had to say anything bad about them because then it would have been up to the jury to decide who wins. You see
Okay,
what I'm
gotcha.
saying? And
Yeah.
that was just the pat that we made. That's why Nick was so upset when I got voted off because it was like why would you guys do such a thing? You know what I mean? But that game, I mean, it's you have to lie, lie, basically in that game, and it's kind of unfortunate. It became part of my downfall because it was like I'm tired of telling these people these same lies when I know that they're lying to me in my face the whole time. So like when we were at tribal, like if Jeff asked me a question, my whole thing, I would just tell him, well, you can tell me to trust you all day long, but
Mhm.
I can't just trust you knowing that you lying to me, period, because you telling me to trust you and then you turn around and vote me off. Like, no, that to me that just would have said bad with me. You know what I mean? Especially if
Yeah.
you was someone that I was rocking with. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
that was
Right.
my next question to you. Look, I didn't got that fast. You were saying, I
About
didn't
Nick.
want to interrupt you. It'll come back.
We didn't talk about the final tribal with Nick and what happened.
So ultimately, Nick ended up winning.
Right.
Okay. So final tribal, it was Kara had to go against Mike White to make fire to see who goes to the final three. So Mike ends up winning the fire. And of course, anyone that watched my season knew that whomever made it to the final, they were going to bring Angelina with them
Right.
because Angelina had done so much wrong to so many people. It was like no one was going to ever vote for her to win the game. So in Survivor, they call that person the GOAT.
Okay.
You always bring a goat with you because the goat ain't getting no votes. So
Right.
basically, it cuts it from final three to only being me against you, Miss Deborah. Basically, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because Toya done rubbed everybody wrong. So ain't nobody giving Toya a vote. Even though she's sitting up here with us, we know she ain't getting no vote.
Mhm.
Right.
So you basically you gonna be my number one competitor at that moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But like for me, like when me and Davey was together, of course, I rode with Nick since day one. Like I started out the game with Nick since day one. So it was a no brainer that for me, if Nick or Davey would have made it to the final, they were getting my vote.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because you got all this time at Ponderosa to go over all of this stuff in your head, like, and each tribal night you go in and you're listening when you're sitting there up there and they're sitting there getting ready to vote somebody out. You're trying to piece together what actually took place, even though you were no longer on that particular island anymore. You know, so it's a lot of strategic play that goes along with it.
So
Okay.
there were 20 people who started off with the David and Goliath, right?
Yes,
Who
ma'am.
were you the closest to in that 20? I mean, you
As
don't
far
have
as
somebody
relationship wise,
as far as relation friend, y'all buddy, whatever.
that would have been Davy. That would have been Davy from the start. Me and Davy, like day one, get being dropped on the island. Of course, it's me and Davy and other colored people. I mean, probably 7 whites or 6 white people, Asian chick, Puerto Rican chick. So immediately, me and Davy scattered out into the woods on the beach and was like, "Hey, bro, ain't nothing got to be said. I got you, you got me, and
Yeah,
that's that." You know what I mean? So I would have me and Davy clicked up real tight, and then of course me and Nick was real cool because Nick was he was just a down to earth person, old country Southern boy, from Kentucky. He just vibed with us. Yeah,
right.
yes, ma'am.
So how old was Nick?
How old is Nick? Nick actually just turned 32. I want to say
Oh, they young.
Yeah.
32, and Nick actually just won a political seat in the state of Kentucky.
Seriously.
Yes, ma'am. Nick Wilson. I want to say it's a representative type seat in the state of
Hmm.
Kentucky.
Okay,
Okay.
that's cool.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that's real cool. So,
Hmm.
excuse me, how did the rattlesnake come into play?
That was me and Nick. That was our little nickname, our little tribe name. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like our little secret alliance thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because me being from Texas, you got rattlesnakes in Texas,
Right.
and the thing with Nick was a huge Big Brother fan, and on Big Brother you always give your alliance some kind of name. So
Hmm.
that's the name that he gave me and himself. Like he gave him and Christian was Mason Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, yeah. So that's how the rattlesnake came into place because I was from Texas and
Right.
Texas rattlesnakes. So yeah.
Right.
So
So it's
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Before you went out, Carl, did they make you guys do to make sure you were physically able to do the competition?
Yeah, you had to take a swimming test. Myself being the third oldest that was on the show, I had to go take a full heart test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then of course you get so many different vaccines.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to do
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's mandatory because you're going to a
Yeah.
basically a third world country in a sense,
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, you say you were like the third oldest person. Wasn't there
Yes,
someone on
ma'am.
a lady on there 56 or something like that?
Yeah, that's Miss Natalie. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Natalie.
was the older black lady. Yeah,
Yeah,
Miss
I
Right.
Natalie.
remember her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought she was just crazy, but in real life, she's so cool. She's so sweet.
Yeah. She probably is crazy.
Yeah.
She's 56. So I'm just
Was
playing.
she? Oh,
I'm just playing because I can say it by myself. How tall you?
Mom, you a little no, you sweet. You sweet, but you don't take no crap.
You take no crap, boo. When you get my age, you don't take it.
I
So
can't wait. I cannot wait. You hear me?
what?
I
Until
told my kids I'm gonna be like Grandma Holla. I'm just gonna say whatever comes to my head.
that's it.
oh man, that lady there be going off.
And she's 66 now, huh?
No,
No?
no, she
She's
didn't
still
die.
kicking it. Now she's still kicking.
You know
Okay.
what, Carl? I think she's out here in Georgia.
Is that right?
If she is, and I get in there, I'm gonna bring you over there. Let Grandma Holla see some chocolate, Carl.
Oh man.
So if Pat did not get hurt, do you think that Nick would have been the one to go home?
See, that's a tough one. That's very much what we were discussing before we actually went to the challenge. Um, and it was me ultimately who was the first one to put Nick's name out there because I again from like for me, like I'm just a hardworking dude. You know what I mean? So like you get dropped on this island and you got so much stuff to do. You got to try to build a shelter and just I mean, it's just so much work to do. And the whole time Nick's just walking around there with his little blazer on and he ain't doing much. So I'm like, man, this dude lazy. Like he ain't helping us do anything, you know?
He wouldn't have
But
been sleeping in that shelter.
What?
yeah, so all the other well, most of the majority of them was kind of on the same page. Now we can't say whether or not if it would have took place or not because you know it weren't able to tell. But that was definitely what the word was that if we went to tribal council, that Nick was going home first.
Nick was going home
Okay.
first.
Mm.
But didn't you get hurt as well?
See, actually, what a lot of people don't realize is the whole accident thing started with me.
Right.
I actually was throwed
Hey,
up and I hit my head and I was knocked unconscious.
You
Yeah,
didn't
I was
tell me
knocked.
that? Oh
Well, I
wow.
mean, like if you watch the show and you see where they're all with Pat, then if you like just look in the background, you see me coming down the dock off the boat with two doctors holding me up.
I missed that.
Yeah, so yeah, it all started like when I came back to consciousness. Of course, we back at the dock, and now I see them all scrambling over Pat because he's crying about his back or what have you.
I
So, but
remember
yeah,
that.
but
yeah.
they actually took me off to the side. I was never in none of the shots until the very end when they were getting ready to put him on the helicopter, and I came in and I had a jacket and stuff wrapped around me
Okay, I remember you having that jacket. Well, let me ask you this: do you
because
have
that
to
was one of
sign?
the doctor's jackets. Yeah,
Okay, do you guys
yeah.
have to sign a waiver, like God forbid someone died, that the
Yeah,
CB
you
that's
sign all kinds of man. That contract is so thick, it's crazy. But I
Um,
mean, but at the same time, they're responsible for you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. They're responsible, but for only so long. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like once you come home, then you got so long, and then it's a wash. Like I couldn't have came home and then 6 months later says my back is killing me from being on Survivor. Like no, that ain't gonna fly. Yeah,
Okay, got
yeah.
you.
so they give you time, like 3 weeks,
Right.
your back still hurt.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then they like for me, like I never ever, and I'm sure she probably thought I was crazy, but I never ever talked to the what did I call her? The psychiatrist,
Mm-hmm.
psychologist. I
Okay.
never ever talked to her. And she would call me all the time, Carl, do you need it? No, I'm fine, lady. Like leave me alone. Like, yeah, like I'm a grown A man. Like I don't need to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like I'm back home working already. Like what are you talking about? But a lot of the other kids, like they talk to on a regular basis because again, they couldn't they couldn't function. I mean, for me, it's like hell, I'm back in society now. I got to put my boots back on and go to work.
So,
Yeah,
so
that's
no
no,
flashbacks. No flashbacks.
Yeah, like nah, like no,
Wow.
none of that for me. No, no, none of that for me. Mm-mm.
you got to be mentally stable to go on something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I know
Huh.
you. I
yeah.
know your mom was praying, and everybody in your family was praying. Lord, please protect this son of mine.
And that's the thing. That's the hardest part about it is because when you're gone, you can't talk to them. Like you don't like. I didn't know nothing that was taking place back home. And they didn't know what was taking place with me. So that there is probably the hardest part about it is you don't
Right.
get no communication with anybody back home.
That
Yeah.
was my next question to you. So, if something happened to someone in your family, then they have a number to call.
Yes, they have
Okay.
emergency numbers. But the thing about it though, like unless it would have been my immediate family, my mom, my dad, my brother, sister, something
Yeah.
like that, then
Right.
for me, it was like, okay, it is what it is. Because once production come to you, if they come to you and tell you, then they automatically pulling you out the game.
Right.
Oh, you don't
You know
have
what
a
I'm
choice.
saying?
Yeah.
No, no. If they come to you with something, then they pulling you out the game. So it's like you like before you leave, you tell your family, hey, look, unless it's something like real, then don't
That's it.
bother, don't
That's
bother
it.
calling, I mean, unfortunately, I lost an uncle. I wasn't here when one of my uncles passed, but I mean, my auntie understood what I was doing, so it was all good.
And that may be the mental part for some of these people. Things probably happen at home and they just can't
Exactly.
deal with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, let me talk to the audience one more time before we
Yes,
get off.
ma'am.
Guys, look, this we back on with Blue Table Talk, and I am so excited because we've been off for a minute. So we back on. When I came back on, we have Carl Boudreaux here, and he was on. He was a contestant for the hit show Survivor. So what I need you to do is press that share button and go ahead and share to let everybody know that Carl Boudreaux, who is a former Beaumonter, I think don't let me get it wrong. I think you graduated from Westbrook.
Yes, ma'am. Class of '95.
The best class that ever
Look
been
at
there.
Toya's dad. You know he graduated from Westbrook. He graduated from Westbrook class of 1995. And guys, to hit that share button. I see some people on here. One lady, Gwen Durio says, are they showing the season he was on? It's on YouTube right now, right?
My season is actually, unless they took it off, my season is the only season that's on Netflix at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. So you didn't tell me that part.
I didn't know you didn't watch it, Mom. Sorry.
I had to watch some of it so I could come on and ask some questions.
Yeah, you're doing good. I thought you watched
Yeah,
the
you're doing
show
a
like
great
you were a
job.
big fan.
Well, cool. That'll work. So anyway, go ahead and hit that share button. I appreciate you coming on watching Carl. You guys always support me. And Lillian Brown says hello, nephew. You know Lillian Brown? He said she's
I
your
do.
aunt. Yeah, he said,
Yeah.
well, he gets to know you. And so
Yeah.
anyway,
I got so many family members. I have a huge family.
I know you're a Guillory.
Yeah, I have a huge
Guillory
family.
size. That Guillory size is just large.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know some of the Boudreaux's, but I don't know all of them. Yeah.
Right.
That Guillory? Oh, I know them. Okay, so how much time did you spend on that island?
In the actual game, I was actually on the island for 30 days out of the 39 days before I was voted off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was voted off on day 30.
Oh, okay.
Carl, were you mad?
Yeah.
Well, initially, like soon as he put my torch out, walking back there, whatever, then I was like, like, man, like, why would they do such a dumb thing? You know what I'm saying? But after that, it was like, you know what, it is what it is. It is what it is. Because
I'd have
once
been
you
hot.
go, when you go to the back, like you got to do interviews. It really don't give you time to really soak in and get mad. Like as soon as you walk out, when they snuff that torch, you're going to do an interview. After that, you're meeting with the doctor. It's just, yeah. Then they bring you a food menu, what you want, because you got to everything out there is on separate islands.
Okay.
So everything is by boat ride. Ain't no driving no car. Everything is by boat ride. So like once you get off, then you got to take the boat ride back to Ponderosa. But that was the best part because like they give you this menu and you tell them everything you want. And by the time you get to Ponderosa, they got all your food sitting there on the table. Whomever's been voted out before you, they welcome you in. You know what I mean? Just it's pretty cool experience.
Was the food good?
Yeah. Well, especially once you got off the island from
Yeah,
not
that's
eating
what I mean.
nothing.
Yeah. When you
So
on the
when you
island, you kill your food, right?
Ma'am?
Once you were on the island, you had to kill your own food, right?
Well, yeah, you had to find what you could find. I mean, they gave us to start out with just a little basket of white rice, and I mean, we had to cook white rice, but you have to ration it because you got so long and so many people. Like every night, I just basically ate just like a handful of white rice,
Y'all didn't
unless
have seasoning?
Wait a minute, hold on. You got to see that. I'm like you, Toya. You got to season that mess.
Well, see, me being a country boy from Texas, all right, there's regular water in the well, and then so they always wanted me to make the rice because
Right.
of course, I wash my rice, you know what I mean? But I would get my regular water, but then I would also go to the ocean and get a few scoops of salt water from out of the ocean to put in there to give it salty taste to my rice.
You see
But
my
didn't I'm sorry.
so you see my eyes, huh? When you said go to the ocean and get that water. So you
Right, because but don't you add salt when you fix a pot of rice?
I don't cook, boy. I don't.
Oh, you don't. Oh my God, come on.
I don't cook. Ain't no sense me sitting
Well,
here like. Well, I used to. I used
see,
to,
I
but I
was
didn't add
always
salt to it. I never added salt to my rice. I've
see my
always.
mom's them always added a little salt to their rice.
Oh yeah, I
Always.
still add salt to mine.
I
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's why I
because
use the
salt,
salt
butter
water.
has salt in it, so I put the butter in my rice because I knew it had salt in the butter. So there it is.
We had some on one of the rewards we won like it was like 4 egg laying hens and a rooster. All right, so I'm never getting none of the reward challenges. Like my team never won. So these people going off and they eating, and I'm just sitting there like, man, like this gotta stop. Like, so yeah, one day I decided I just went ahead and cooked one of the chickens. A couple of times. Chickens wasn't laying no eggs, so it was like, yeah, it's time for these chickens to go. So yeah, I actually prepared chickens on the island.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I have to go back to this ocean water. Didn't you just say that's where I used the restroom at?
Yeah, but you know how big the ocean is, Latoya? Do you know how big the ocean is?
Cora, I don't care how big the ocean is.
How
That's
many
nasty.
times you done went on a vacation and swam in the ocean?
All right, then.
I
Just
don't get
ask
in
me
water.
that.
I don't
You
know how to
never
swim.
went to the beach and got in the water. Because I can promise you some of that water done got in your mouth.
Cora, I don't get in public
Look
places
how big.
because
Come on, Toya. Come on, man.
we'll
That's a
talk after
huge
the show.
ocean. That's an ocean.
Mm-mm.
So you said
Nasty.
it washes away.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, it's a
What,
no-brainer.
what's
You
it?
eat fish?
Vaporizes or something like that. So
You eat fish? Fish drinking that same water, and
drinking
you
that,
eating the fish.
drinking that salted water from that
Exactly, and you eat the
ocean.
fish.
But you know what? You eat the fish, but it's in grease, and grease, it kills everything.
Yeah, all
There's
that.
never,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I tell you, just like this, my mama always told me, just pray over your food, and you'll be all right.
right. What don't kill you make you fat.
There you go. There you go.
So so were you ready to be thrown to the tower and on Elizabeth? If so, why?
Thrown to the
Were you
what?
ready to throw the towel in on Elizabeth? And if so, why?
Oh yeah, me and Elizabeth just clashed. Like me and Elizabeth didn't see
I
eye to
just
eye
didn't
at
make
all. Like no, like not at all, at all. I
That was
mean,
from
I don't.
jump.
Oh, that was from the very beginning. Yeah, from the word go. Yeah, we just and crazy thing is we both from Texas. She's from Texas as well. But yeah, we just I guess we were too much alike. I guess I don't know, but yeah, no, we didn't see eye to eye at all. When it was time to get her, yeah, I had to get her because she would have got me before I got her.
Oh, oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
So
Wait,
behind the scenes, were you pretty vocal with people like you are in real life?
there's no behind the scenes.
Oh,
You
you
can't.
did say that. You
Yeah,
did.
there's no behind the scenes. The only times the cameras turn off is when they're transporting us from the island we're living on to one of the islands that we're probably fixing to have a challenge on or something like
Hmm.
that. But you got producers there with you, and they call it like you tell a kid you're in timeout basically. So we can't do no talking at
Oh
all.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
so
Because
that
they want to catch all strategy on camera. Like they
Oh,
don't want any strategy to be done without it being on camera.
that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I have some people who just came on, who just tuned in, call, and I
Yes,
want
ma'am.
you to tell them what happens. And this is, I'm sure, like in every episode, what happens when a person is voted out? Do they have to do they actually have to have a doctor waiting for them to check them out, or well, like you said, you didn't need all that.
Well,
So
that's just protocol. There is a doctor there waiting on you. His name is Dr. Joe, to be precise. Once you get voted off, yeah, the doctor checks everybody because he takes all your like before the game started, they took all our vitals, our weight, just everything. So once you get voted off, he's gonna do the same thing because they want to see how much weight you lost and make sure your blood pressure and all of that stuff is still intact. So yeah, everyone has to see the doctor once they're voted off.
so, so if you were like a diabetic or had some type of illness, you couldn't be on the show, right?
Well, no, you can because now there's what they call a med box. So like say you were taking medications, you could have your medications with you. It's
Okay.
just that's something you're gonna go off. This box is hidden. It's camouflaged right there in our shelter.
Okay.
Nobody can see it, but we know where it is. So
Right.
like for instance, like for the ladies, you were allowed to have your
Cycle.
things for
Mm-hmm.
your cycle, right? So yes, the ladies are allowed to bring that type of stuff. If you wear contacts, I mean your contact solution, your medication, yeah, those things are allowed. It's just something that you go off into the woods and reach in the med box, and everybody has a bag with their name on it with their particular stuff, in that box.
Hmm.
So they go into the woods and change this.
Yeah, yeah, basically,
I'm grab a leaf instead.
basically,
Wow, I'm sure it's very exciting. It's mind-boggling, put it like that.
yeah.
Because if you would had a weak mind or a weak stomach or whatever, you probably wouldn't be able to play. I mean, not play,
No,
but be a part of it. You know
nah, you ain't gonna make it. If you're afraid of bugs, you ain't gonna make it.
what I mean?
If you're afraid of being outside while it's raining, thundering, lightning, you ain't gonna make it. It's just yeah, just all those different elements. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's times I would sleep and big old spiders just crawl across
Oh,
your chest. It's just like rats, mice. Yeah, like you just ain't gonna make it.
I wouldn't have made it. I
no,
don't survive them.
no,
A
no.
roach get
Oh
on me,
yeah.
I'm falling out.
Oh,
Oh well, you were. Yeah, I'm talking
already
spiders, like
killed.
like huge spiders. Like yeah,
Mm-mm.
spiders
What
huge.
what do y'all spray and stuff to spray them and everything, right? Or y'all just kill them? What
What
I mean, what happened?
what they where they got some spray from?
Carl probably picked that spider up and just threw it.
I just flipped it. I just flipped it off. I mean, but yeah,
Oh
it's
no.
one of those things. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. No, it ain't no spray. Ain't no bug spray.
So, Carl, did
Yeah, ain't no
people
none of
stink
that.
on that show?
Well, I mean, to
Yeah.
be
To be honest,
well, to
yes.
be quite honest, the first couple of days you could smell, people starting to smell. But then after that, like for me, for 30 days, hell, everybody stinks, so you can't even really distinguish it anymore.
Everybody starts smelling alike, huh?
Right. I mean, I mean, the most you could do is, like I said, we would go to the ocean and get in the ocean and kind of like wash yourself down with the wet sand to try to exfoliate yourself or whatever, you know what I mean? But that was the
Oh, y'all
most you
didn't
could
have
do.
soap?
No, you don't have no soap, you don't have no toilet paper, you don't have any of
Wait
that
a minute,
type
wait
of
a
stuff.
minute, wait a minute,
You
wait a
don't
minute.
have a toothbrush, you don't have any of that type of stuff.
You don't have a
What?
You
toothbrush?
don't have any of that. You have
Oh,
none of that.
I wouldn't have made it on day one.
No, you have none of that. That's why you always see people sitting there with the stick, doing that with the bamboo stick or something like that. Yeah, no. No toilet paper, no toothbrush, no soap, no, no.
And all that to get $1 million.
Well, yeah, but that's easy to get $1 million. You realize they got people on the streets that go through their life all day, every day,
We're
and you
not cut
only have
out
to
for that.
do it for so many days? That's easy.
Yeah.
For
I
you,
mean,
it's
it ain't
easy.
like you there for the rest of your life. Like you just all of a sudden homeless. Just imagine those people. So basically, you get to live out on an island and try to survive for. When I was on it, it was 39 days for a chance to win $1 million. Like, yeah,
Willie Bobby knows said, remember, it's survival. Yeah, and you're right. You
yeah,
Yeah,
have to
you're right.
survive.
But I need some soap
yeah.
and some tooth. I need some soap.
You're right, Willie. I feel you on that one, but there are some things that y'all do. They did call survival on even David versus Goliath. There are some things I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have made it at
But
all.
you never know what you can accomplish until you try it. You
No,
never know what you can accomplish until you try it.
I know when. Mm-mm. I'm sorry.
Nope. During the hurricane, after I want to say it was day one, I had to leave. I didn't have no water. Remember, I called you, Carl. I didn't have no water. I'm coming to Houston. Ain't
Yeah. So
no
what would you?
way.
What would y'all do if that was to take place and they said you cannot leave your residence? If your lights was off, your water was off, and they tell you you can't, it's mandatory, you cannot leave your residence. Then what you gonna do?
I stock up on water all the
It
time.
don't matter. You can't leave. You gonna survive, right? You gonna
Right.
do what
Yeah.
you got to do to survive.
You're gonna do what you have to do to survive. Right. Right.
That's it. So that's the whole thing. Being on that game, I did what I had to do to survive. I mean, it just so happened I was playing a game to survive to try to win $1 million.
You did a
So,
great
It's no
job.
different.
so you ended up, excuse me, when you left, it was 4 people or 3 people.
When I got voted off, no, it was still 6 people left.
Oh, 6. Okay.
Yeah, it was
I
6 people left.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I must have miscounted.
yeah.
Okay. So
Should have been
like you
6.
said earlier, you had no idea you was getting ready to be voted off.
No, I was blindsided. I had no clue.
Is
No
it
clue.
because you think it was because that boat incident or
Oh no, it was merely because Gabby just was a crybaby and she just couldn't take my blunt honesty anymore.
mm-hmm.
You know, and on top of the fact that she was believing more of what other people that was not in her alliance was saying. Like she was real good friends with Allison, which Allison was on the other side, but for some reason Gabby and Christian seemed to thought that they were with them, but they was never with them. And we kept trying to explain that to them, but
Mhm.
for myself, I kept trying to explain it to her, but like I talked to her just like I'm talking to y'all. Like I didn't try to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my bluntness kind of got the best of her. She kind of started feeling like I was aggressive, which I mean that's typical even in today's society. You're
Yeah.
talking about a 42-year-old man at the time talking to a 26-year-old white girl. I come off as aggressive.
Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. People call me aggressive. I don't think I am.
Yeah, but I mean, especially a man talking to a young lady, a black man talking to a young white lady, that's kind of aggressive to most of
Well,
them
yeah, I
in a
guess their culture.
sense,
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right, right. When I'm not being aggressive, I'm just being straightforward.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's what I like about you. Yeah, you just
that's
straight
just
up.
what how I am. I'm gonna be straightforward. I
Hmm.
mean.
Yep.
So let's see what we have. Gwen says, I am not eating bugs and I can't I shouldn't have
And I can. Oh man.
I don't blame you, Miss Gwen.
I didn't know I was putting that up there. I'm sorry. And Gigi Segura and William, they both said something about tequila. Or when you was talking, say, I need some tequila or something like that. Oh, Gigi said they call me angry all the time. And so
Absolutely. So yeah, yeah,
it
Yeah.
doesn't even matter, I think it's the way we talk,
Yeah.
right, right,
authoritative,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
Authoritative. Absolutely, absolutely.
So that then they just figured that we are angry people. That's
Yeah.
the kid right there. Like,
But I mean, we have every right to be angry. They've consistently stepped on us and done us bad. So yeah. But
right,
anyways,
right.
That's another
yeah,
podcast.
that's another podcast, right?
Another podcast.
Look, after we have look after this election night out here in Georgia,
Oh
we need to
my
talk.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Lord, pray for us out here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just came on just before we get call came on. I was talking about Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker and people who have to vote. But I'm sure the polls are closed now. So
It
they
closed at 7.
yeah, they closed at
Oh
7.
yeah.
So hey, the benediction is coming soon.
Look, I didn't tell you what happened the other day. I put my signs out. I think I told y'all we got signs. They pulled them up.
Really?
Pulled them up out my yard.
Ooh.
That's
Yep.
Wow. Dr. Williams wants to know how soon can they get you to medical help in an emergency?
It well
Yes.
when you're on a challenge, the med team is always there when you're on a challenge. But now, like if you're on the island and something happens to you, I think it takes maybe about 20, 30 minutes for them
Oh wow.
to show up. Yeah, yeah.
Carl,
Even
has anyone ever had like a heart attack on Survivor or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge, no, not to my knowledge.
even when you were injured, when you hit your head on that in the boat, it took like 30
Mhm.
minutes for someone to come and test you.
Well, for us, we were leaving that particular island, going back to the island that we were living on. So they had to, of course, turn the boat back around and go back to the closest island that we had just left from.
Yeah.
And because the whole production team was still on that island, they hadn't left the island yet.
Right.
So
But it was
that
much
one wasn't.
yeah, much
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Did they give you a choice if you wanted to come home after that?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they asked me if I wanted out, and I told them hell no. No, yeah,
What,
like
you
no. I
hang
mean, I
on
was
in
knocked un. Yeah, I was
there?
knocked unconscious.
It
Okay,
was David and Goliath. You were David.
right. I have a headache, but you know what I mean. They gave me a couple of pills for a headache, and you know I was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, it's the clock on the wall tells almost time for us to go, but I want you to talk about if someone wanted to be a castaway or they want to be a contestant. Do you call them contestants?
Contestant, yes, ma'am.
They want to be a
Yes, ma'am.
contestant on the hit shows. About what actually do they have to do?
So basically, you make a video and you tell them about yourself. You can make an extravagant video if you want, or you can make a plain Jane video. But you basically just telling them about yourself, telling them your background and why you think you would be good to be on Survivor, and submit that video to I think it is CBS/Survivor, and if they like it, then they'll reach out to you, and it's just a process that goes from there. Like they bring you to Hollywood, and you go through. There's three phases that you go through, what they call casting. So you'll go to the first one, and you sit down, and of course you do some on camera on camera interviews and vice versa, and you just keep going through that step until the final casting. When you make final casting, then you pretty close to being chosen to go on the show, because not everybody makes it to final cast. There's people that's been brought to casting 2 and 3 times and never made it to final casting, just get that close but not close enough, because they always find, again, it depends on the what their topic is, what the season is going to be about. So they're looking for certain type of people, you know what I mean, a certain background, if your background from your life fits what they're looking for, then obviously they're going to pick you to be on the show. Yeah. So yeah, just make a video. I just sat right there on my fireplace and used my iPhone and made a video and sent it to them, and they liked it. But again, I didn't sugarcoat nothing in my video. Like I talked like I normally talk if I was sitting down in the backyard with Toya or what have you. You know, I cursed. I just talked like I was talking to a normal person,
Mm-hmm.
and they liked it. So I ended up on Survivor.
So they're the one who say, okay, you could be a survivor, but you're gonna be on David and Goliath, that tribe. You're gonna be on
Right?
that.
They picked that.
So
Yes, ma'am.
they
They
pick.
choose that. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. They made that choice.
Okay.
Yeah, because again, they went on for that. They went on basically on upbringing. You know what I mean? Like all the ones that were on the Goliath tribe, like the majority of every last one of them basically grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. You know what I mean? Their
Mm.
families had it. Like her parents was doctors, and one parent was an executive chef. So like they grew up with silver spoons in their mouth. Whereas like myself and Nick and Davey and B, like no, I mean like we come up having to work to get everything we got. Like nothing wasn't given to us. We had to work for what we got. Right,
Exactly.
right, right. So
Right.
that's how they came up with the whole David and Goliath split. Yeah.
So would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely. I pack my bags right now if they wanted me to.
Didn't I tell you he was crazy?
Yeah,
You came on saying that.
yeah, yeah.
I don't
But
like
now
that.
people don't understand you make money off of it as well.
Yeah.
See, you're not doing like
Oh,
it ain't for
so
free.
you just don't go
Yeah,
on there and you don't come back with
no,
me.
like
Oh,
it
okay,
ain't for
cool,
free. Yeah,
cool. What
no,
am I
yeah, you
going?
make money.
How
Yeah,
long
you
do you
make
have?
money.
How long do you have to stay on to make that money?
Well, see, everybody initially that's on it get $10,000 right off the rip,
Mm-hmm.
right off the bat.
I'm on my way, y'all. I'm on
And
my
then the longer you stay on it, the more money you make. It's like $2,500 an episode, something like that, unless they've changed it. Yeah.
So that's 10 grand plus 2,500.
Plus each episode that you're on. Yeah. The longer you stay in the game, the more
We
money
on
you
there,
make.
girl. We on there.
Yeah.
Kathy, let's go. We on there. Cheryl, let's go. I'm
You know,
gonna bring my tribals.
ain't sure not going on there.
Toya, let's go.
We can go on Big Brother. I'm not going on Survivor.
Yeah, Big Brothers
Much easier
is
than
that's the weak people that can't be on Survivor.
watch that now.
Well, yeah, because they in a house with all the lap and luxuries. They got food, they got everything. They got a swimming pool, they got showers, toilets, they got everything.
But
And y'all,
Carl, no, because you in a house with a
Yeah.
bunch of people. Half of them
It doesn't matter.
don't
It's the
clean up.
same. It's the same game. You just in a house with everything, with all the amenities. It's
But
basically the same game.
yeah.
If
oh,
you think about it, it's
It's the
basically the same game.
same people who produce.
It's the
oh
same.
yes,
It's
CBS.
some of the same producers. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Some of the same producers produce the Amazing Race show as well. Yeah.
Kathy Wingate wants to know. She said, Deborah John, what would you do when the possum show up?
Yeah.
The outdoors.
Come on. You got possums in your backyard right now.
And I ain't out there either, huh? I ain't out there. Okay, thank you so much, Carl Boudreaux, for coming on Blue Table Talk. I certainly appreciate you. And hey, this was very interesting because I've never even known anyone to go on a show like that. Like I said earlier, Survivors for underdogs. And I'm not. I guess I'm a possum. I might be that possum. And so it's awesome that you've gone on there. You did what you needed to do it because you that guy. You that guy. You that guy who will do daredevil. Put it like that.
Right. Yeah.
So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming on Blue Table Talk. And we'll be checking back with you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you having me.
Toya, thank you for Toya is my new co-host, guys. So she'll be on every week, right, Toya?
If you call me, I'm there.
She ain't gonna be on. She gonna find something to do.
You already know.
Really?
Toya gonna find something. Yeah, she gonna find something that she busy or she forgot. Trust me.
No, he telling
Yeah.
tales. If he called me, don't I always pick up?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
She pick up for you, she'll pick up for me.
Yes, I do.
So Deborah, Dr. Williams said, "Welcome, Toya."
Hello, thank you.
So we're gonna go ahead and chime out. But like I said, I appreciate you guys for always supporting me on Blue Table Talk. This has been wonderful, and we're just now waiting for the election, to see who's the new senator for Georgia. Hopefully, is Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker.
What?
Yeah, really?
Did I say that?
You said that out loud.
Sorry. Hopefully it's Raphael Warnock. I'm sorry.
Lord
I
have mercy.
You know why I said that? Because I told someone yesterday I'm gonna get Herschel Walker on Blue Table Talk. They told me, well, make sure you let me know, so because I'm not tuning in.
No.
Actually, I want to tune in.
I would tune in.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to do something.
Understand nothing he's saying, but I tune in. Yeah. No.
He lost me. What if he want to be a vampire or a werewolf?
Yeah, he want to be a. Did you know a werewolf could kill a vampire? Oh my God!
It was that other one, the other part he mentioned, and I have not forgot about, but I forgot what he said. We were talking about that the other day, Toya. He says
when he said an erection instead of election.
Oh my God!
Yeah, about the erection. I'm like,
you know what? They're gonna kick you off. They're gonna kick us off of Facebook.
My Lord.
But it's real. It's real because he's coming on national TV saying that. So Facebook, we just got to just repeat what he said. Anyway, you guys stay on so I can get my viewers off. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I know Gigi. He crazy. Anyway, so thank you. We'll be back on next Tuesday night. I don't have a guest. I'm trying to get what's her name on the ones on who's on The Voice. Kim Cruz. I'm trying to get her to come on, but we'll see how that happens. And if y'all haven't looked at it, go ahead and watch The Voice. And Kim is very dynamic voice. But don't judge. I mean, as far as I'm not saying anything, But go ahead and listen to her. And I think she's lived in Woodville, so she's from Woodville.
Mhm.
And if I'm not mistaken, I thought the Flavor Band told me that she used to sing with them. So whatever. So y'all go ahead and look at it. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. God bless you guys. Is my prayer. If I can help someone as I pass along the way, then I know that my living is not in vain. God bless you and keep you is my prayer. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming on to Blue Table Talk. Good night. Smooches.